Camelback Mountain is one of Phoenix's most iconic trails. But if you're visiting Phoenix and only have time for one run, is this actually the trail you should do? I just ran the Echo Canyon to Cholla Trail loop on Camelback Mountain, and I'm here to give you my honest review. Not just the views are pretty, because we all know that, but who should run it, who should skip it, and where you should go if Camelback Mountain isn't the right fit for you. Because let's be honest, iconic doesn't always mean best, especially for runners. So let's talk about what this trail really is. First, let's set some expectations. This is not a pure trail run. The route I did was about 5.7 miles with around 1,500 feet of elevation gain. And here's the reality. You're looking at maybe 60% running, 40% hiking and scrambling. Now, that's not a bad thing. I actually really enjoyed it, but it's something you need to know heading in. I started on North Invergordon Road, which meant I had a few miles on the road before I actually hopped onto the trail at the beginning of the Echo Canyon trailhead. I parked on North Invergordon Road because I know how crazy the Echo Canyon trailhead can get. That parking lot fills up fast, especially if you don't get there early enough. Now, on North Invergordon Road, they only have parallel parking, but if you get there early, you can typically snag a nice spot, especially before the crowds get there. From there, as soon as you get on the Echo Canyon trailhead, you start climbing up through a mix of trail and then technical sections where you'll do a bit of scrambling. Talking at times you'll be using all fours. It is a bit technical and it takes some time, so don't think of this as a pure trail run. You are definitely going to be mixing in some upper body work with that. You continue this until you get to the top of the Echo Canyon Trail, and then that's where you link over to the other side of the mountain onto the Cholla Trail and start descending down. You can kind of see from the elevation profile there's a big climb up the Echo Canyon Trail. My pace was not fast on this. I believe I averaged almost a 14-minute mile just climbing up this section. And that's because realistically you're not running the whole thing. You're scrambling, you're stopping to navigate around people, and you're also taking in the views while you're at it. And of course, that's something to mention is the crowds. No, it's not going to be shoulder to shoulder unless you go at peak times. But if you start early enough, I started around 6:45 in the morning, you should be fine. There will be people, but it's not going to be anything too crazy. But for me, the variety is fun. The mix of starting on the road, getting onto the trail, climbing, some scrambling, more technical terrain, and having to navigate. I enjoy those types of runs from time to time. Don't get me wrong. I love a nice piece of buttery, flowy single track. But it is nice to incorporate your upper body from time to time. So, who should run Camelback? Honestly, number one, if you like variety, you want a bit of road, a bit of trail, a bit of climbing, all of that. This is going to be the perfect trail for you. Also, if you're training for a mountain race or an ultra, 1,500 feet in 6 miles, realistically around 3 miles, that is going to be very good for your training. And last, if you're just someone who wants to take off your run and get one of the most iconic sites in the Phoenix area, Camelback is that, and there's nothing like reaching the top and being able to see out in 360 degrees from Camelback Mountain. It's one of the most rewarding views there. So those are the 3 people I would say absolutely must run Camelback. Now on the counter, who should skip Camelback and where should you go instead? Number 1, if you just want to run the entire trail and all of your training run, Camelback isn't going to be for you because you're not going to be doing that. Whether it's the terrain or the crowds, something is inevitably going to slow you down. For that, I recommend going to South Mountain or Papago Park. There you'll be able to have more trail options and you'll find some flatter trails that you can use and link up to get your run out of the way. Now, the nice part about South Mountain is it does offer more variety. If you do want to throw a bit of elevation into your training without the crowds, South Mountain's going to be excellent for that. The other runner is going to be the one who prefers solitude. If you just generally don't want to be around people during your runs, Camelback is the worst possible place you could probably go, especially depending on the time. So for that, again, I still recommend South Mountain and Papago Park. I've run in both and enjoyed running at both. South Mountain I prefer a bit more just because there are more trail options, but Papago Park's nice because after a few miles, you typically drop most of the crowds and you're by your lonesome. The short version. Camelback is iconic, but it does come with its downsides. So if you are looking for a bit of something that Camelback isn't offering, South Mountain, Papago Park, my 2 recommendations. Feel free to drop more in the comments if you are from the area. I'm always trying to explore more whenever I visit Phoenix. So, the logistics that actually matter. I did touch on these briefly earlier, but number 1, get there early. As I mentioned, I got there at 6:45. There weren't too many people parked on North Invergordon Road and it wasn't that bad. But by the time I got back to my car, Completely different story, packed bumper to bumper, and there are people waiting to get in spots. So number one, get there early. If you want, try to get there about 45 minutes or so before sunrise so that you're actually getting to the top when sunrise is happening. Just make sure you bring a headlamp for the dark. The whole loop took about an hour and 18 minutes, but that was just moving time. The actual entirety of the run was about 2 hours. That's including stops for people, stopping to take pictures or get video, whatever it is. In all, it took me around 2 hours. So you can budget based off of that. So the ultimate verdict, should you run Camelback? In my opinion, if you want one of the most iconic trails and you're okay with crowds and you want a bit of scrambling and more full body involved, then absolutely do it. However, if you want the solitude, if you want to get away from the crowds, then absolutely not. Skip this and save yourself the time and the headaches. Phoenix, this is what's great about it. It has tons of options for you to choose from, and you can go not far away and get rid of the crowds and still have an epic run. Just do a bit of research. I did create an entire video talking about how to find running routes in any city that would help with this if you do struggle to do this. So be sure to check that out. So that's my breakdown of Camelback for runners. I hope this was helpful. If it was, be sure to drop a like, subscribe for more. And if you've got any questions about any trails in Phoenix, be sure to drop them in the comments and I'll give you as much information as I can or add it to the list on my next trip. But as always, thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, run fast, travel slow.